Hello and welcome, wonderful G1s. This here is the Non-Playable podcast, the official podcast for G1 features. I am so delighted. Okay, maybe that's not the right word. I am very happy and glad that this is finally on a roll. And I am the head honcho of G1 features, Madhero 15. Joining me today is a Swede that we all know and love, FrankHaggar.
Hello.
Next up we have someone also from G1 Features. He is part of the G1 Best Ever and will soon have his own original website. You may know him from Cinemattack. Here is SideSmash.
Greetings to one and all of the G1
And
Nation.
of course, something like a podcast wouldn't be complete without a mascot. And as our wonderful mascot, we have our adorable little friend, Big Joe 91. Say hi. Oh.
Hey guys. Sorry, I'm not
Okay.
in the meowing
You're
mood.
using your special record thing, like they have in Mass Effect, to make everything sound English, so that we don't have to...
No, didn't you see? It's the crank
yeah,
suit.
I remember. But I don't remember that crank suit ever talking. Well,
I don't remember
it
either.
seems to work for you. In any case, hey, welcome everyone. This, as I mentioned before, this is the Non-Playable podcast. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing
Thank
okay,
you.
Matt Hero.
What about you two guys?
Pretty good.
Yeah, we're doing good.
That's nice to hear. I've been going fine as well. It's just, new podcasts and stuff. It's all very exciting and whoa, like now we hopefully have an audience soon. Right now it's just like 5 people here. 5 people that will probably hear this, including my mom going, "Oh, you did a wonderful job, dearie." But let's talk video games. Because that's, of course, this is Screw Attack, and we need to talk about video games in order... Have you guys been playing anything? Like
Yeah.
what?
Fire Emblem
Oh.
Awakening.
Nice, okay.
Oh, nice.
I still need to
Oh,
get that
wow.
game, and
What a game.
I'm trying to find...
Oh my god, Tom,
Oh.
this game.
Yeah, by the way, Madhero is not my real name.
That's right,
Yes,
it's Tom.
Now the whole world knows. But go on.
The whole world knew when you changed your Twitter handle to have Tom instead of Matt Hero. Anyway, so I played Fire Emblem Awakening, and I gotta say, I was not expecting such a fantastically emotional experience. The gameplay itself is fantastic, and the multiple ways you can kind of like bend the game to your own limits of whether or not you're casual or hardcore is excellent. But most importantly of all, the support system and marriage system is like out of this world. Honestly, I got really emotionally invested in these characters, and especially like in the spouse that I chose as my player avatar character. It's a fantastic game, one of the best games on the 3DS, and a game that you need to buy, Tom. Big Joe, you have a 3DS too, don't you?
Yeah, no, I have I played Fire Emblem Awakening.
Okay,
I
excellent.
even reviewed it.
Yeah, it's...
I guess you got to the part also.
Well, I
Like in the middle of the game, that there's just a moment that's so amazing and surprising for a game like that.
see... Now, let me ask you, Big Joe, who was... Without spoiling anything, who was your... did you have a spouse?
Geez, I played the game twice, but I usually use female avatar.
Ah, okay, cool.
So, yeah, because I use, like I do in Pokemon, I use the name of my cats as avatars, but no, the support system works great, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic, and if you have a 3DS, ladies and gentlemen, and you do not have Fire Emblem Awakening, you need to pick it up.
Would you
It's
recommend
fantastic.
it to people who aren't really familiar with Fire Emblem or aren't even big fans of strategy RPGs?
Yes, because the game does a very good job of streamlining itself without getting rid of the core experience. If you're into Fire Emblem, you will enjoy this game. If you're not into Fire Emblem, you will enjoy this game. Plus, there's tons of downloadable content that you can get without paying for anything. Like you can actually fight and then recruit Marth, Roy, and Ike for free. You can just, they're really difficult. You have to fight them first, but you can recruit them and you have them on your team.
Okay.
And, there's just tons of great, bonus opportunities and items and whatnot. It's a game just bursting at the seams with content. And I highly, highly recommend it to anybody looking for a nice, rich, and deep experience on the 3DS.
I did play the demo on it, and I did surprisingly like it. I'm not usually into strategy RPGs. Like, I couldn't really get into Fire Emblem. I couldn't get into Advance Wars. And it's strange that Fire Emblem Awakening is really like, okay, I kind of want to buy this. Because, I don't know, it's something about it really grabbed me. It looks beautiful, so that's...
Yeah.
But,
only thing I...
Yeah,
and,
the looks and the...
Yeah, the only thing I find, like, problematic is the fact that the sprites sometimes look the same. Like, it just looks weird with the 3D map, 3D models, and the battle formations, but on the map, they all look like... They're all like sprites, like, from, like, GBA area. And, like, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to distinguish certain sprites from which.
Well, it's good that you like the game, because I kind of want to see if I can get it for a cheap price, but one, Fire Emblem is never, ever really been cheap, or at least, like, price-wise. And also, Nintendo games never, ever drop in price. There are some that do, but usually they...
It takes a while. Mario Kart DS is still like $30.
That is...
Still
that game is...
$30.
Is that game from 2004?
9 years old. It's from... Okay, no, it's from 2005. Next November, it will be 10 years old. And I would not be surprised if it's still $30.
Hey, if people buy it and people pay for it, why should they stop?
That's always been the case with Nintendo. Like, Nintendo generally, like, you hear this big problem with the used game market from other developers, like, oh, people are selling our games and then we don't get any money, and GameStop gets all that money that we earn from that game. But, you know, like, Nintendo usually doesn't have that problem, or at least very few actually give their Nintendo games. I mean, some do. I've seen plenty of Nintendo Wii, DS, and 3DS games, even Wii U titles as used, and you can buy them there. But
that is the shovelware. That's the thing.
Not even, because I've seen Super Mario 3D World used. I don't know why someone returned it, but it was there.
I can make so many jokes about people hating that game, but it's actually pretty good, so I won't.
It's amazing. That is such a fun title. But anyway, like, Nintendo doesn't have that problem as much, I think. And I think that's also something that Reggie said. I can't really remember.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that he wasn't really worried.
So yeah, that's a pretty interesting, especially in today's market where used is apparently such a huge problem. I don't have a problem with... Most of my 360 games are actually used, I think.
I don't remember the last time I bought a new game. It's probably the last Pokemon. I buy, like, I mean, I have over 540 games, and, I mean, I buy one new game a year.
You buy only one game a year? Like, one new?
One new game. One game that I don't buy.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's really, like, I really need it. I will only buy a game if I really know that I'm getting my money's worth.
No, it's just that I'm like 200 games behind. I'm 5 or 10 years behind. There's tons of stuff that I haven't played yet. So unless it's something like the only reason actually I bought Pokemon New this year was so I could play with people online. It's pretty much the only reason.
Okay, that's interesting. But we went off on a tangent. What have you been playing actually besides? Well, you said you were playing Pokemon.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we'll talk about Pokemon enough in the future episodes. So I'm gonna try something different. I actually played Twisted Metal 3 for the first time.
Twisted Metal 3, okay. Was that on the PlayStation still, or? Okay.
Yeah, the first PlayStation. I had a friend over last week, and we tried Twisted Metal for the first time. And the only thing I played before was only the demo on the PS1. With the demo that came in with the disc, and it's really crazy.
I actually have
crazy
never played Twisted Metal, which is disappointing because they always look really, really fun. I just never really had the systems for them, but now I have a PS1 and 2, so I could get one. I just haven't. They've just been low on my list of games I want to get.
But it's really a multiplayer game. I mean, there's no need to get that game to play single player. You're not gonna play it. I haven't played it since my friend came over, but it's really just the battle mode from Mario Kart.
Yeah,
hardcore, I guess.
Did the original do well? I mean, not the original. Did the latest one do well? Because I know that Sony really hyped it up because it was done by David Jaffe and stuff. but I haven't heard real much of it since.
It's a PS3 exclusive, but I don't know if it's done really well. We
Like
would
Swiss?
have heard about it. If it was, I don't know if it was good, but if it was successful, I'm guessing it would have been a PS4 launch title. Like they would have made another one.
Yes. Bummer. And Frank, what have you been playing?
I've been playing like the usual, like TF2 and Smash Bros and so on. But
Which one? Which Smash Bros?
I usually play Brawl, but one of my friends came over and we decided to play Melee a bit. And there's always been one challenge that I could never beat, and that is the 15-minute endure challenge. Which basically is that you have to survive 15 minutes against computer bots, which are just stock human beings.
Yeah, those crystal.
Yeah,
things.
the crystal things. And the best strategy we came up with was to be Donkey Kong and do your down B smash and just.
Oh yeah, that's how I did it.
And just spam that. So, because I've never unlocked the Donkey Kong stage from the first Super Smash Bros. Game into Melee, so we decided to just do that. And 2 minutes left of having pressed down and B for, 13 minutes or something?
15, you said.
A giant bomb came and exploded me away. So either I could have just given up and said fuck it, or I could have retried. And I retried. So for around half an hour, if you put it all together, I have pressed down and B, but I finally got the Donkey Kong stage.
Okay.
After I got the game in 2004, I believe. And 10 years later, I finally unlocked everything in the game.
It's interesting because, I've been playing Brawl for so long. I originally got Melee with my GameCube, and I love that game. But what's been interesting is that I played Brawl a lot, and I love the shit out of Brawl. I think Brawl is excellent. And I think there are some things that are wrong with it, like the tripping and stuff. But ultimately, I think it's a very fun game. And when I tried to get back into Melee, I found it a lot more difficult for some reason. I don't know if that's with any of you guys who have recently gone back to Melee, because I know Melee is a lot more loved by the competitive scene.
Exactly, because it has a combo system, not intentionally built in, but it is built in. And in Brawl, it's, to put it kindly, it simply doesn't have that deep of a combo system in it. And everything is just too floaty to be able to be linked together. That doesn't mean the game isn't fun, though, because you can still play it competitive, it's just in a different type of way. Going back to Melee, I think I actually prefer Melee, but I really love Brawl's characters, like King Dedede, Wario, and Diddy Kong, and so on, so I'm kind of tied.
What about you, Big Joe and SideSmash? What do you think about the Melee Brawl war?
It's pretty interesting because you've been talking about how the used Nintendo games don't go down in price, and that's exactly the reason why I don't have.
You don't have Melee
yet, because it's still $35. I don't have Melee. I have the N64 and I have Brawl, but I don't have Melee. I played a ton of Melee though, but no, I mean I like Brawl. I think better because of all the craziness and the Super Smash and. The amount of characters, but I can get where people like Melee better. There's just it seems more stable. It's a bit more difficult, and to be honest, it's easier to get into. I mean, I tried a couple of times to get people that have never really played any Smash, and but play video games a lot, and they just can't get into Smash because it's just too crazy. And all the stages move around and have these random obstacles coming over. There's a lot more stability in Melee and even more in the original. But it's a tie, I guess. But I like Brawl better because I.
And you, Max, what's your verdict, or don't you have an opinion on this?
When it comes to Melee versus Brawl, I find that the two play differently. I prefer Brawl for a few reasons outside of the gameplay. For example, the random option for characters, I absolutely love to death. It's probably one of my favorite options in any game. Even though it's really small, it makes a huge difference. And Brawl just feels a bit tighter. I don't know what it is. Melee is awesome, but it felt a tiny bit unfinished. Plus all the other stuff like Adventure Mode, which was tedium, like, maximized 35 times over. But, like, Brawl's Subspace Emissary, though it was flawed, it was at least interesting, and it had these amazing cutscenes. I think, yeah, and for that very reason, I think Brawl will stand as the best in the series even after the new one comes out, just because they had enough time. When it comes to development, the Super Smash Bros. Series has always kind of relied on, like, the success of a certain of the console that it's coming out for in order to, like, have, like, its expansiveness judged. For example, with Melee, with the GameCube suffering, Melee was rushed out a little bit, which is why the Adventure Mode was so hackneyed and really dull. Then when the Wii was out, they could delay it. They delayed it twice because they did, and they were able to put in stuff like Sonic as a playable character in the stage build and the Subspace Emissary, which was awesome. With the Wii U doing so poorly, they had to kind of rush it out the door. So that's why there's not going to be some kind of Subspace Emissary mode for that. So it really has. No. Sakurai's a little excuse about how it's like, oh, it's because of, like, online. It's going. No, that's not true. That doesn't make any sense. It's just another way of saying we have to rush out the game. There's no way we're going to make this available. So which is why I believe that Brawl will stand as better than Melee and better than Wii U and 3DS. Although I hope to be wrong on that. I hope to be completely wrong. But that's just
bold statements, my friend. Because I think that with this, we all have said that we prefer Brawl over Melee, or at least some people just say it's a tie. And, I think that we're going to already piss off a lot of people who are into the competitive scene, but screw it.
Bring it on.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. So, in any case, what I've been playing is pretty much what a lot of people have been... Well, it's a very new game in the United States, in America, and that's Bravely Default, which I've recently been... I've about 8 hours in now, and it's really good. I love how... I think we do have it. You do need to have a certain nostalgia for Final Fantasy, for the old Final Fantasies, like Final Fantasy 4 and 6. Like, if you want those types of games, then you're gonna dig Bravely Default. But it has, I think if you play Final Fantasy 3, the DS one, yeah, like it has that same job system, which is also interesting.
Oh.
Man, honestly, the Final Fantasy 3 on the DS was probably my least favorite Final Fantasy.
I did not really... go on, Max.
See,
No, you...
Sorry. When it comes to Final Fantasy games, I've always been like especially fond of the older ones, like Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 especially. 7's really good too, but after 7, like, it just gets way too complicated for my taste. Tell me, Madhero, is Bravely Default more classical Final Fantasy, or does it just kind of, like, lose itself with all the content and make itself almost impossible to, like, get into for anybody who's not really into RPGs that much?
I feel it's very classical. It feels very much like a classic RPG, but it does have the Brave and Default system, which is a very interesting system. Like, the Brave system, like, you can sort of max your attack, but you'll be more,
Wait, Brave system? Hold on, like in Dissidia?
Let me think. How can I best describe it? Like, with the Brave system, like, there are two systems, Brave and Default. With Brave, you can unleash multiple attacks in a single turn, but you'll be more... you'll take more damage from enemies. And with the Default system, it allows you to store battle points, which can be used for pretty big attacks. And it adds a sort of risk and reward factor to it. And I think that's definitely it's very interesting. I haven't really gone far into the story yet, but so far I'm liking the characters, even if they are a bit, standard JRPG characters. So I can highly recommend it. If you are into that Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's weird because I don't see it as a Bravely Default is... A lot of people say it like a classic JRPG, but I don't think JRPGs have just evolved in like another genre of games. It's just turn-based games have disappeared and Bravely Default comes. I
don't think that's true at all. I don't think turn-based has never really gone away. You see it everywhere. I mean, look at Pokemon.
No, I know, but there's certainly a lot less of it. I mean, the games that have been turn-based before have like trying to evolve into this hybrid action turn-based RPGs that a lot of time I didn't feel worked.
Like, you mean like the recent Final Fantasy, like 13, or
like exactly like the
yeah, I
recent
can
Final
understand
Fantasies.
that. Like, it's a bit of a mixed bag because 13's gameplay is, or at least like I've only played 13. Like the first 13, not 13, 2, and 3. But that combat is terrible. Mostly it's boring. And I think that's with, like, turn-based. I don't know, I can see that being boring too and also being kind of nonsensical. I actually like a lot of the more action stuff. Like 12 did a great system, which is similar to kind of an MMO-ish, which works fine. And it's the same kind of system you see in Xenoblade Chronicles and also kind of in WoW a bit.
No, I mean it probably works, but I remember playing 12, and the main issue I have is controlling one character and giving just orders to the other ones. It's not bad. It's not a bad way to do it. It's just I feel like it's not the same genre of game.
I don't know. Like a Japanese role playing game doesn't necessarily have to have turn based in it. That can have a whole genre. It can be a whole lot of things.
No, I know. It's like I guess simulation racers and arcade racers. That's how I see it. It's still JRPGs. I'm not debating that because anyways, it's just a title, but it's like two different types of games. And as far as the action oriented of the let's say 12 and 13, I just think some other companies that are a bit lesser known do it better. Like Star Ocean series. The best action RPG I've seen is probably Star Ocean.
I haven't played that game. I've heard of Star Ocean though. Have you played what's that game again? Because talking about Lost Odyssey. Have you played that? Okay, I think that if you are into turn-based RPGs, you'll dig that. It's actually made by the old Final Fantasy director Hironobu Sakaguchi. So it's probably very cheap right now. It comes with 4 discs.
Whoa!
And it's Xbox 360 only, which is odd for a JRPG.
They wanted a market they didn't have, so they tried out.
And it failed
JRPG.
Yeah.
It didn't do well.
Look how that went.
Well, right now the PS3 is the definite JRPG machine.
Yeah.
But I don't have a PS3, so I am sad about that. In any case, those are the games that we have played. And, is there anything more we'd like to talk about? Like, perhaps some of the news?
What type of news?
Video game news.
Oh.
Perhaps news that is more direct than others.
Yeah, I think that in the case of what's going on, the biggest news story of the recent gaming world, besides some previews of some games, which are looking pretty good, is of course the Nintendo Direct.
Which is some previews.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. But
I think the biggest news right now is just what's going on with Nintendo. People have been forecasting their doom for a good month now, and honestly, it's become an honest to God issue that I'm starting to deal with. I'm starting to get a bit concerned about them. Even though they're a lot smarter than I am, as a consumer, I always look forward to Nintendo Direct because I want them to charge forward, guns blazing. I want this whole thing to be just like there was once a point where Nintendo almost lost, but then they came back and dominated again. And that might just be the Nintendo fanboy in me, freaking out, but I just don't want them to go. I care about them too freaking much to watch them go. So that's why I was looking forward to this Nintendo Direct. Now, the results are, for me, satisfactory, but nothing special.
Yeah, I think they did not really show any new games. They talked about besides their free-to-play games, which is weird, Nintendo doing free-to-play, especially they're doing it in a very odd way, but we'll talk about more. But mostly it was about stuff that we already knew about. The first thing, of course, is Smash Brothers and an all-new character.
Lil Mac.
Yes,
Lil Mac.
Someone
who I was so pumped to see because I think you, Tom, you and me had discussed this, how excellent of a character he would be for Smash Brothers. If I'm not mistaken, it was like you, or is that either you and me, or me and like somebody, and like another G1 was talking about like you could literally think of like every single move for Little Mac because it works. And yes, I predicted that his Final Smash was where he would become Giga Mac. Now, what do you guys think about his interesting like uppercut charge?
You mean the KO
that
meter?
you see at the bottom of the screen? Yeah, the KO meter. Like how? Like what do you guys think about that? It seems like an interesting, like sort of like specialization for a character like that. And will we see something like that in another character coming up?
The thing is, like, it apparently seems to charge. We don't know if it charges when someone hits Little Mac or if it just charges over time. But if it has to charge that long of a time to be able to deal that one-hit KO move, then it's not really going to be worth it because every decent player can just avoid it. Unless you can cancel it somehow.
My prediction about it is that with Luma, like, it's going to build up every time he lands a hit with his punches, but it's going to be, like, really slow and stuff because you don't want to overpower Little Mac by just having continuously punching will build up that meter. But that if he does get hit, it will take, like, a big chunk off that meter. Similar to kind of like what Punch-Out the game.
Yeah.
I don't know, I do...
But how does it work? Because I haven't really seen it. Is it like a super meter for other games?
Basically,
like
there's a tiny it's a tiny meter. It's like the meter from Super Punch-Out. Have you played Super Punch-Out? Oh.
No. Surprisingly.
That meter builds up. In the trailer, there's a meter near Lil Mac's corner, and that builds up when he seems to be punching. We don't really get to see it, how it gets built up. But when he does, and he launches a punch, it's a one-hit KO that does a lot of damage to Bowser and Mega Man. Those were at least shown in the trailers.
Okay. I'm watching the
It's
trailer
pretty badass trailer.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I love that comic style. I wish that would be the style they'd go for, because I just love that stylized look for some reason.
It's like they're directly trying to compete with, like...
Probably not, because that franchise is dead.
No, probably
not.
It
has that similar style.
It's like... it's a special style.
Wait, what do you mean it's dead?
What? Capcom lost their Marvel license. Which also means that they...
Basically...
What does it mean it's dead? They could just renew it at some point.
Probably not,
right?
Considering that Disney is trying to get like everything in their center and going to make everything themselves. That's why the Deadpool game was also taken out, which was a Marvel license that was an Activision game, so not just about Capcom. And I'm going to assume that based on the track record of working with Marvel, Capcom has said that getting these characters was really tough. Then they're probably not going to be able to renew it, and they're probably just going to make a Capcom versus Capcom style game, because that's what the fans want, and then they'll be able to support the esport community of those games easier, because it won't be any stupid legal bullshit that happens with Marvel. Because right now, you can get into a lot of trouble if you do certain things with the Marvel vs. Capcom games, because Marvel isn't okay with everything. But Capcom is.
That all depends on a contract, because there was some sort of contract when Marvel vs. Capcom was being made. But recently, like in December, I believe, all the Marvel vs. Capcom games were being delisted from PSN and XBLA. Let me see, I've got a link right here.
Yeah. And then I guess they're going to stop making copies of Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which pisses me off because I want a PS3 copy because I love the game, and you know, it just doesn't like right now Marvel is like the most relevant it has ever been in like 20 years. Why throw that away? Why become so, you know... Is it really just egos? I believe it's something else.
I think Disney is planning something.
I think it's Disney. That's my guess.
Yeah, but I do find it weird because Disney has so much potential as a developer, because they've got the Marvel license, they've got the Star Wars license, they have half of Kingdom Hearts, they have all their franchises. You think that with that arsenal and with the money behind Disney, you could buy so many studios, and Disney would just become huge in that gaming market. And they're...
Yeah. I didn't they just announce like Star Wars stages in
Yeah,
Disney Infinity
they didn't
or something?
announce it, but they said something was coming. But they gave the Star Wars license to EA to make game, and that just seems very odd to me. I mean, it's cool that they're making Battlefront and that DICE is doing it, but
Yeah, that's
why
really sweet.
isn't Disney themselves doing that?
Because I don't think they have the capabilities to do an FPS, to be honest.
It's Disney, they can buy a studio.
I guess, but I don't think they kind of want to have that image, per se, because even though Disney owns Star Wars, then
It's
Star Wars
Wars as
Battlefront,
well.
Star Wars is probably going to be a bit more mature, and they kind of want to branch out that stuff, so they still get the money, but their image doesn't get any worse or something.
Well, that doesn't mean that they can't make kids game for Star Wars. There are plenty. I mean, Force Unleashed 2 was released the same time as like Clone Wars or something like that, like a game behind Clone Wars, and there's also the Lego Star Wars games. So I don't know, like there's always been and besides, also with Disney, like look at what the Avengers is doing. I don't think they're that terrified of that image.
Yeah, maybe not, but to be honest, Avengers is pretty kid friendly. Like
That's true.
it's nothing dark.
Well, there's plenty of dark stuff in the Avengers, but it is pretty compared to like what DC is doing. It's pretty kid friendly.
Yeah,
I'd
and there's
say
nothing
at
bad
least.
about that.
No, I'm liking them. But what were we talking about again? Like, how did this get started? Because we were talking about Marvel vs. Cap.
Oh no!
Yeah, the little Mac
announcement.
announcement. So yeah, that's...
Yeah. Now, what other characters... Now, okay, going off Little Mac, which I think is really awesome, what other characters do you expect to be announced, like new characters? 'Cause I can think of one that I'm almost sure will be announced.
Prom.
Yes. Shut up. Yes. Because, and it makes perfect sense, because Ike was a prominent character in the GameCube and Wii Fire Emblem games when they came out, and Chrom is the new character of Fire Emblem Awakening, which actually did extremely well, by the way. I remember playing the demo when it first came out, being really excited for it, going to the GameStop right next to my college, and then telling me that they were completely sold out, as well as most GameStops in the area. Or
It's the best-selling
so,
Fire
I
Emblem.
think they told me the country, but
It's the best-selling Fire Emblem ever, so...
yeah, and which is why I think Chrom will be good. If not that, then like some kind of variant on the Avatar, because Chrom is basically just Marth, but
I
don't
know
know, with a different
something
name.
like about
So,
one
like-
character, like from like the Marth of that story, but that would be spoiler territory.
yeah, I would.
I
Wait,
know
you
that,
know about
yeah.
that whole thing?
No,
Yeah.
that's too bad.
Yeah, it was a really nice
Well,
twist.
too bad. It's not really that.
Yeah, that
big of a
or yeah,
spoiler. There are other really better moments in that, but it's pretty cool.
if anything, it would be really cool if one of the alternate costumes for Marth, like just like Marth in general, was that he had that mask. I think that would be really
Yeah.
cool. Just like a nice little nod to just to the series. Yeah, I believe Chrom will be like, just because he is the face of, like, he's kind of the face of Fire Emblem right now. If it wasn't for Marth, that or like some kind of variant on the Avatar who could use like magic powers and whatnot. But that is who I think will be announced. That's just me.
It seems like a very predictable choice because that's like it seems almost inevitable. Like, yeah, Chrom is going to be in it because I don't think they're going to reuse Ike.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be one of the characters cut, and if he is in, I'll be very surprised.
Well, yeah. Or I mean, what if they bring back like Roy? Like what happened? What if they bring back Roy? That would be interesting.
They probably have to change his moveset a bit because I don't think they want any clone characters since it's probably... They said themselves it's just going to be around 30 characters, and they seem to really try and make every character as special as possible, which is good. So...
I just hope they don't like reveal every single character that
think
comes
they
out.
will.
Like seriously,
They will,
like that.
but what about...
I wanted to go into Smash Bros. Like not being spoiled because I was so pumped for Smash Bros. Brawl when I was 13, and I decided to kind of cheat and look at all the new characters, including Wolf. And I didn't have anything really like surprising when I played the game. I loved the game to death, but I didn't really have much spoiled for me. But because I had already spoiled myself before, So, oh man, I hope they like have one like third-party character that they don't announce. And I wonder if Snake's going to come back too. Speaking of which,
Voiced by Kiefer Sutherland. Yes.
Maybe they'll replace it by what's the
With Big
guy's
Boss?
name?
Raiden?
Right.
yeah.
No, he was already
you
in
think-
PlayStation
Well,
All-Stars.
Raiden wasn't in any Nintendo title. That's the thing. Big Boss was in Snake Eater 3D, so maybe it won't be Solid Snake. It'll be Big Boss. It was pretty much the same, but he's got a different
Joe and Frank, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be in Smash Bros? Because I have my predictions here and there, but most of them are probably not going to happen.
I'll let Frank go first.
I'm going to be honest. I really think that they're going to add Waluigi.
No.
Like, I
What? You think?
think they will add
I
Waluigi.
don't think so, right?
It's the year of the Waluigi.
Think about it. Nintendo loves to take wacky characters and make them into fighting games. Waluigi is a wacky, goofy character. It makes sense, and he's been in a lot of other like party-style games, and I can
There's
definitely.
no way.
Dude, Wii Fit Trainer, shut the hell up. If Wii Fit
Okay.
Trainer can be in the game,
No, that's totally cool with me,
Waluigi can be
though.
in the game.
Why
Yeah,
hell
like
not?
why not?
No. Not with Waluigi. I thought with Wii Fit Train, I'm like, why the hell not?
Okay, she's
You
a
know,
good.
they can
It's a
move,
good character.
They can fight. Waluigi.
I don't know.
I think
I'm
Waluigi can
skeptical
be a-
about that.
I think Waluigi can be a really cool character if they just do it right.
Well, that's like with every character.
Yeah.
As long as you do it right, then
Yeah, but
Who's gonna complain?
I don't think they're gonna release Waluigi now. They barely just released Wario. I mean,
they haven't even announced
Wario's
Wario
been
for the new
announced yet.
game. They haven't announced Yoshi. either.
No,
They'll be
I-
announced
I-
at some point.
That's kind of bugging me out. When Yoshi's New Island comes out, have you guys noticed this? How they've been announcing characters that, like, usually, like when they're like relevant. Like they announced DDD when Kirby Triple Deluxe came out in Japan. They announced Zelda when Link Between Worlds came out in Japan. Now, Little Mac's a different story because he's brand new. But I think they'll announce Kirby when Yoshi's New Island comes, or Yoshi
Yeah.
when Yoshi's
Probably.
New
Or
Island
your
comes
Yoshi,
out,
you never know.
which would be a great segue into the
No,
other
like
games
I
that we're
still want to
talking
get
about.
my thoughts out because I've been thinking about Smash as well. Like I'm not too sure. I'd like to think that maybe I think the best prediction I could make is that the Mii's are going to make an appearance.
oh
just seems-
great.
That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
that would make sense because they're really pushing the
The
social
Miiverse.
the social thing. So it's just normal that the
yeah,
Mii's
and they
would
could
be-
use like the
would be out.
Wii sports stuff as their move sets.
Okay,
Like, you could have-
that could actually be kind of fun.
Yeah, the foam sword thing from Sports Resort. You could have like the jetpack from Pilot Wings.
See, I think it would be a good idea if they push Mii's, but I'm not sure it'd be such a good idea because I just have the feeling that their moveset would be exactly like a bridge between the Villager.
I think it's
and
going to
the
be
Fit
like
Trainer.
Villager, but I don't know. I think, it's not something I'd want. I just think that, yeah, the Mii is probably going to be in it. The character I'd most want is, Shulk from Xenoblade, but I am 100% certain he's probably not going to be in it because Xenoblade is much more of a cult thing, even if it's even if he's from a Nintendo franchise.
But see, they like these kind of games. I'm hoping they're gonna make a crap ton
Yeah,
of
oh,
trophies
they are.
with these kind of games, like references to Xenoblade in the trophies. And I'm gonna sound like a fanboy again, but if they could just release something to give Super Mario RPG fans, like just a little gift, like a Malo or a Bellome or
As a
Tenno,
trophy?
whatever, just something.
Because his characters are not going to make it because they're owned by Square Enix.
No, I know, and that's why they're probably gonna make it not be characters from there. And I kind of live with it now, but just to have some trophies. I mean, they've got trophies out of
Yeah.
some pretty obscure stuff. So I just hope they're gonna make a little more trophies if they don't have time to include all the characters. And I do hope that if they don't bring back a character, they're at least gonna make a trophy out
I'm
of it.
also kind of hoping to see the Wonderful 101 maybe represented as a character. I don't know how.
Assist trophy. If they were going to be anything, it would be
Yeah,
assist
that's
trophy.
probably the best thing because, if you'd have to have him as a character, the Wonderful 101, they're all about working together. So having just one of them in When
Yeah.
But as a new character, though, just a possibility. They've announced the new official Sonic for the Nintendo franchise, and Sega is officially with Sonic mostly, I guess. So we couldn't probably get something.
let
someone
Sonic
else from
just be Sonic.
from
Let's just have him and not anyone else.
No, I'm not saying it's a good idea or that I would enjoy it, but I mean, there's probably a possibility that you can see like either Amy or Tails or
I highly
Big Ass
doubt
Knuckles.
that.
Steroid Knuckles.
Yes, that Knuckles gives me the chuckles.
Um,
I think it's a good
possible,
design. I
But,
don't know.
Sega's there. They've announced the game, like you said. If they
Okay,
want to popularize
well,
the game,
Okay, well, there are plenty of characters still up for speculation. What about other stuff announced at Nintendo Direct? Because there were a few things, including Steel Diver Sub Wars, which is I actually decided to try it out. And first thing I noticed, you know who's in this game?
Yeah, I saw that in
Peppy.
the trailer.
Peppy's in this game. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a variant of Peppy, and I've been trying it out, and it's interesting. It's not bad. It's got a premium version that's $10 instead of the free version, but I don't mind that. And it's actually funny on the title screen, it says about premium version, and it just basically explains to you all the things that you can get out of this premium version. And I think that's okay. I think that's cool. I don't really mind the whole free to play thing because you can still play multiplayer and whatnot.
It's a very glorified, I don't know, demo of it, I guess.
Yeah, and it's got local play, which is cool. And it's, I have no understanding of why people are so, against the whole free-to-play thing. I mean, Nintendo has said before it's got to get, with the trends in the industry, and here's a way to do it. So, yeah,
is
Steel
it a
Diver,
good trend, though?
With the case of free-to-play, I mean, look at stuff like the last, Dungeon Keeper Mobile and all that microtransaction pooling. I think a lot of people are scared of the free-to-play markets because it's so easily exploitable, and you can also see Nintendo doing that maybe, and they're afraid of that, I think. But it seems that with the Steel Diver, the way you explained that demo, and also with the Rusty something with the baseball, they also seem to have some sort of idea that they are still bringing some sort of game to that free to play, that you don't need to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I just have the idea they've came up with the times by using free to play. But I mean, people that make money off free to play, I guess you just have to be nasty.
I think you
borderline.
Well, look at League of
disrespectful.
Legends, how big that is, and that didn't treat its customers like shit. It brought a good game first, and then asked, "Hey, maybe." Are you tired of this character? Well, we got a bunch of other great characters that you can buy, and no, you don't need to use them. They're all as equally strong. They're just a bit more different and more fun to use. I'm not sure on that more fun to use part.
I guess, but that's a whole different style of games. I mean, Steel Diver is basically I don't know. Steel Diver is really an FPS. Does it mostly?
Yeah,
work
it's a
as an
first.
FPS?
Well, it's a first-person submarine. It's not. It's not first-person shooter. It's first-person submarine.
Okay.
So FPS, yes.
It's only I mean, I don't know. I just think if Nintendo keep on their console, the free to play isn't gonna work that
It's
much.
something I'm gonna be a bit if their free to play stuff is gonna be like Steel Diver, if it's gonna be like that Rusty, which I can't think of the name right now, with the whole haggling thing where you can actually haggle the real life price, which is really weird. I think they have sort of figured out how to do it without seeming like greedy dickbags at EA, what they're doing. Oh my god, I am so pissed at what they did at Plants vs. Zombie 2.
Yeah, I actually don't think Nintendo will do that because they're too afraid that something would happen, and they're probably too smart to it as well. I can't see them doing it. However, I am really scared at the new Capcom game for PlayStation 4. Deep down, that is going to be free to play. It's yeah, I'm not gonna trust you on free to play. I'm sorry. You make good games, but no way. Because
that's the big issue with free to play and the big AAA industry. It's also indies have done it plenty of times, but like we've been, especially with something like Capcom, with their on-disc DLC business practices and all their other stuff that has seemed kind of greedy, we don't tend to trust them. And so it's all about delivering a good product first, and then making sure, hey, I'd like to pay for this. Like, apparently Loadouts, which is a recently new FPS, or third-person shooter, I don't really know. Apparently, it's doing really well, and that's because it delivered a good game first, and then, was like, hey, there's also this cool stuff you can buy, though you can also unlock it in-game itself.
And from what I've tried, Path of Exile is a pretty good game from just the free basis that I managed to play. I don't know if you heard about this one. It's been in beta for a while. It got released. I haven't heard of it.
I don't really try free-to-play games. And do any of you guys, besides you, Joe, who just said that he tries Age of Exile?
Well,
I just tried Steel Diver, so I guess.
Yeah, Frank, Team Fortress. Have you ever paid stuff for Team Fortress 2?
Sorry, what did you say?
Have you ever, because you're a big TF2 fan, have you ever paid, since it's gone free to play, have you ever paid for stuff?
Yes, I have paid for stuff, and it's all cosmetic stuff.
Okay.
My backpack is currently worth $70, and I put in about $15 into it, so I made a pretty nice profit. So, yeah. And it's all cosmetic stuff, or it's weapons that can become strange and then count how many kills you have on them, and so on. And it's a whole bunch of different types of systems and so on that I could go over and explain, but I think that's for a blog or something. But basically, you don't have to pay for anything in the game. You can be completely free to play and find every weapon and everything, because most of the time the stock weapons are the best weapons anyway, so it's cool.
Okay.
And you don't need hats. But you actually do, because you look so much better with them. But yeah.
But yeah, that's how
hats.
you do free to play. Like, don't force people like EA is doing, and also trying to force 5-star reviews. It's a bit of a mess. But any case, that's our free to play rant, it seems. There was also some other stuff from Nintendo, mostly trailers, like Donkey Kong Country had its recent new trailer. That's
Tropical Freeze, who Nintendo needs to stop with the whole cranky meme thing. That's really starting to get. It's like your grandpa trying to make a meme. It's like, Grandpa, we love you, but please stop.
Donkey Kong already has a new.
Please stop.
He already has a new meme. It's Expand Dong. Oh, it's so great. It's
yeah. But and also trailers for stuff like Yoshi's New Island, which I'm looking forward to, because Yoshi's Island is my favorite 2D platformer.
It's one of my favorite games ever, Yoshi's Island. But I also think the DS game is underrated.
It's okay.
Yeah, nobody talks about the DS game, even though it's really good. Like, it's really, really good, and it doesn't make much sense why nobody else talks about it.
I like the different babies in the game.
And then there's Kirby Triple Deluxe.
Switching characters thing.
Oh, really? I thought that was cool.
I'm not really digging the art style for Yoshi's New Island, mostly because, that original is so timeless. But, it's still a new Yoshi's Island, and we haven't seen one in forever.
And they seem to keep it simple with so far we've only seen Baby Mario.
I think it's only going to be
the only one that's going to stay there. See, that's what I like, and that's just me, but every time you have to switch characters in the middle of a game, that just messes things up and breaks the flow for me. But that's probably just me. That's why I didn't like the DS one. And that's why I don't really love Final Fantasy.
Yeah, okay, I understand. And also, let me think, what else was shown? Oh, yeah!
Kirby Triple Deluxe.
Which is a Kirby game. And
I am looking forward to a whole bunch. It looks awesome. Oh my god. Seriously, I'm kind of surprised at how good that game looks. Well, no, I'm not, because it's Kirby. And Kirby
is great.
But I like I've seen the trailer for the multiplayer. That's just smart. I mean, doing a mini Smash with all the Kirby abilities.
That's pretty much funny.
I don't know why they didn't do that before.
I think that could be really fun, but of course the 3DS wasn't the only one that got the spotlight, because as I mentioned, Donkey Kong. The Wii U also got some stuff, including a new gameplay trailer for X. Oh my god, I look so forward to this game.
Somebody explain me, what is this X? What is going on here? What is this X everybody's
X
going
is
crazy
the
about?
latest project from Monolith Soft, aka the creators of Xenoblade Chronicles, and before that, Xenosaga and Xenogears. And Xenoblade was super good. And now they're pretty much making another game, and it has mechs that can transform into tanks. And have giant, beautiful monsters that you can kill. It just looks really good. Like, we know next to nothing really about it. Besides that, it's being made by Monolith Soft. It's being made by by that game's director. Its music is being composed by the same music director that did Attack on Titan. Okay,
Cool.
and it just looks so good. It's not going to be a Wii U seller by any stretch. I think it's a little too niche for that, but for someone like me, I am so looking forward to that game, and I hope we do get a name soon, because there are still so many people who think it's Xenoblade 2, and I don't think that it is. But we'll see.
I
We'll
think,
see.
honestly, with the sales of Wii U, niche games are pretty much what's going to sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when the new Mario Kart releases, either it's going to do really well or it's just going to do okay. Because I don't know if you know this, but it could be because the Wii had already such a huge install base, but Mario Kart Wii sold so freaking much on that system. I don't know if it's
still selling.
if it's a system seller.
It is selling. Yeah, Mario Kart is a system seller.
More so than...
Yeah, they bundled it with the Mini
But
Wii.
speaking of Mario Kart, they also showed some stuff from Mario Kart 8, including new characters, all of the Koopalings.
The
Yes.
Koopalings.
That's pretty balls. That's pretty freaking balls.
Let's see if you can name them
that's
all.
cool.
That's very...
I didn't know
wait,
about that.
you use balls as an adjective. That's pretty balls, dude. I would say that's mildly balls. Perhaps? Maybe?
Yeah.
No. But, like, yes.
I think it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's
Is it announced for
Yeah, I don't mind if it's on
3DS
yeah.
or Wii U?
Wii U, yeah. It's Gravity.
Okay,
yes.
That's...
it's only
Yeah.
for the Wii U, so they're not gonna bundle it with
No,
like Super
this is
Smash
just
with the
Wii
3DS.
U.
They already have a Mario Kart
Yeah.
game.
Because they could.
It was a pretty damn quick turnaround, I must say, after Mario Kart 7 came
Yeah.
out, like, a few years ago. Like...
But let me think, what else did they...
Yeah, well, okay, what about stuff... Fine, what about stuff that you wish was, like, announced? Or any news that you were hoping for but didn't? Because I can tell you mine right away.
like, what did you want then? Because,
I wanted an American release date for Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney. That has not gotten anywhere. And honest, there's been some complaints. People like saying, "Oh, there hasn't been a new F-Zero announced and whatnot," and that's stupid. No. I'm looking for a release date. This is perfectly reasonable. A release date to a game that is coming out in Europe, probably is going to be mostly translated in English, right? Right. I don't know why it wouldn't be out here as well as in there. I don't even care if it's digital. I want more Ace Attorney. And speaking of Ace Attorney, did you hear the news, Tom, about the
it's
next Ace
being
Attorney?
made by the old director again, Shu Takumi.
Yeah. Shu Takumi, and apparently it's going to be completely different from the other games. Now, knowing Shu Takumi, he's probably going to, make all the characters disappear except for, Phoenix and Apollo, because that's what he did last time, which is why I was totally okay with him not coming back for Dual Destinies. But I'm glad that Ace Attorney 6 is happening, because it's one of my favorite franchises, and honestly, without it, the 3DS would be lacking in Ace Attorney. And now with Dual Destinies and everything, it's doing well, so... Yeah, I just wanted a release date for Layton versus
It is a pretty
Phoenix.
powerful series, right? Like, it does sell well.
Ace Attorney is more of a niche franchise, but Dual Destinies did really
does?
well for...
Yeah.
Well, it got the projected sales, so I don't know if... Because they made the game only digital because they were afraid, well, it may not sell as well as we hope, and this is the only way we can really spread it to the West. And maybe now that they have exceeded their expected sales numbers on digital, maybe now we'll get a physical release. Because Layton vs. Ace Attorney is coming in Europe, both physical and eShop.
Cool.
But as for news I wanted from this Nintendo Direct, I wanted a European release date for Shin Megami Tensei 4. Because that game is still not out, and we haven't heard... No, we don't.
You guys don't have that yet?
Atlas hates Europe.
Really?
They kind of do.
Did you know, actually, this reminds me, did you know that there's actually going to be a Shin Megami Tensei versus Fire Emblem game? That's for the 3DS. How long has that been, announced? Because there hasn't been anything about it for a while.
It was over a year ago.
No, it wasn't over a year ago, but...
It was. The game was officially announced on January 23rd, 2013.
No.
I can send you the Wikipedia link if you want to.
I'm looking at it myself. I'm gonna see when they showed the trailer. Oh, Jesus, you're right. It's been a year.
Yeah.
So they're basically putting two franchises that did better than they expected on 3DS and saying we're going to make
pretty much, but we haven't heard anything from it since over a year. I think.
I wonder if it's going to have Awakening characters, or if it's just going to have new.
It's
Fire
probably
Emblem
going to
characters, just have a gameplay. Because the most consistent thing about Fire Emblem is the gameplay. It's pretty much been always the same, but all the plots and characters and stuff have been different.
It's a very weird kind of crossover because Shin Megami Tensei is more modern. It's more based on technology and demons and that kind of stuff.
Well, Fire Emblem is straight up medieval.
So it's a weird combination, but that's what makes it interesting.
Really? It's a weird combination? Because I remember Dynasty Warriors with Pokemon.
Oh, wait, no. You're talking about Conquest, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't Dynasty Warriors. That was some anime.
No, it's not an anime. It's
that wasn't Dynasty Warriors.
Romance of the Three Kingdoms, no?
Was it Romance of the Three Kingdoms?
That's Dynasty Warriors.
It's a spin-off. It's like Nobunaga's Ambition or something, which is a Japanese-only franchise.
Yeah, which is why I never heard of it. Not even for a second have I ever heard the game.
But that's what I probably named Pokemon Conquest. But let me think what they also showed. They showed stuff for... Yeah, that's
the NES remix.
Pretty soon.
I've heard mixed reactions about that. Some people really like it, and some just think it's kind of cheap.
I haven't...
It's not cheap, it's just stupid. I mean, people have been doing ROM hacks for years now, and now Nintendo's doing it. So, I mean, if you don't want to look too deep into it, I guess it's cool. But if you want to not, to really see that Nintendo's blocking, every people trying to use their stuff, but they're using their own stuff so cheaply, it's another story. It's just the difference between the two.
I completely forgot about this, but they also announced, GBA games are coming to Wii U.
That's awesome.
Which doesn't make much sense, but I'm totally cool with it anyway.
They announced 3 games, Metroid Fusion, wonderful game in the Metroid series. Superstar Saga, one of my favorite games ever, though. It's...
Yeah, why... Okay, seriously? Here, can I just complain about something for a second? Real quick?
Go ahead.
Why the hell did they put freaking F-Zero for 3DS GBA ambassadors, and they didn't put up freaking Superstar Saga, one of the best Mario RPGs of all time, perhaps better than Legends of the Seven Stars or whatever. Seriously, it doesn't make much sense to me why they didn't have Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga as that. But I'm glad that it's coming to the Wii U, as strange as it is. They'll put up GBA games before Nintendo 64 games, and that just blows my mind.
It's weird that we're getting those, and also DS games are coming at some point to the Wii U as well.
Yeah, that's true. With Partners in Time as one of the games,
they haven't announced anything.
Was that one of the games
they
announced?
only showed it in our investors meeting. They showed it with Brain Age.
Oh,
but I don't know if they're gonna do what they're gonna do with that. They haven't announced anything yet.
I wonder if they're gonna do GameCube games.
Okay,
yeah, why the hell not? I mean,
I think I
should. It's totally cool.
But I don't think so, because they're bringing GBA and DS games to the Wii U. It doesn't make any sense that they'd bring another.
But it's still weird that we don't see any.
I mean, if you want to bring the GameCube to the Wii U,
I gotta agree with Max. I think it makes more sense to have GameCube than GBA, but I'm not gonna complain because, hey, it's Superstar Saga. Why should you complain about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also.
Well, you should complain because Max said it was better than Legend of Seven Stars. But apart from that, you don't.
Anyway, sorry. Go on.
I haven't played any of those games, but I have played and completed Bowser's Inside Story, and believe it or not, I actually like that game more than Team Fortress 2. And if you go look at my Steam profile and see how many fucking hours I spent on that game, They're gonna see how bold of a statement that
What
was.
game were we talking about?
He likes
Wait,
Bowser's
what
Inside
game?
Story more than he does Team Fortress 2.
And I played over one.
Oh wow, I never got a chance to play
Oh
Bowser's
It's a
Inside Story.
man,
great game.
It's really, really good.
I prefer Superstar Saga, though.
I haven't
think
played
that's-
Superstar Saga, so it might be better.
Well,
No,
this is a
Superstar
good
Saga's
opportunity,
really
then.
good.
Yeah.
It falls in the category. Bowser's Inside Story falls in the too expensive used Nintendo game category. But
Yeah.
I really wish I should play that.
In any case, I think that's kind of it regarding Nintendo Direct. I thought it was a good Nintendo Direct, or at least it did not give us anything new, which is disappointing. But it did show a lot of new stuff, including X, which is nice.
There was one thing though that I was surprised was not there. A Wii U game that was announced a few Nintendo Directs back that has not been mentioned at all since. Yoshi's
Yeah.
Yarn
Oh, yeah.
or whatever. You guys
I
remember
remember
that?
that.
They haven't said anything
Yeah.
about it since E3.
Yeah, what the hell happened with that? I mean, I wanted to see some gameplay and stuff. It looks awesome. I don't care if it looks like Kirby's Epic Yarn. Who cares? It looks freaking cool. And with Yoshi's New Island coming out, I'm wondering. has it been
No, I don't
scrapped?
think so. We'll see.
Yeah, they wouldn't scrap a Wii U game. They need as many good first-party titles on that as possible.
Yep.
But they did announce like 2 Yoshi games really close one to the other, so I guess they're gonna see what Yoshi's Island does as far as sales go and release the other one later. Announce it at E3 maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. In any case, I think we're done talking about Nintendo Directs. That's been a long talk, because of course a lot of stuff was said. But I'd like to quickly ask something about some other games, because recently we've been hit by a bit of a preview wave for very anticipated games that are coming out next month. And those are Infamous Second Son, Titanfall, and South Park Stick of Truth. Out of those 3 games, which ones are you the most
Yeah.
excited for?
South Park Stick of Truth. Let's go. I want it. I want it so bad.
Do any you know what those 3 games are, right? Like everyone, right? Okay,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
excited for them?
I know what they
They-
are. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, I do not care
Really?
for any of
How
them.
come?
Well, I mean, okay, Infamous 2 is my favorite game on the PS3. And since I don't have a PS4 and don't really care enough to check out Infamous Second Son, with Titanfall, I don't know much about it. It does look fun, but I don't have a 360 or anything to play on it. And I'm kind of right now out of like the first-person shooter vibe, more into like stuff from Nintendo, like stuff from indies and whatnot. And then with the last one, I mean, I think South Park is a really funny show, but that's really all I have to like. That's really it. So yeah, it does. Yeah, it's sort of like all over the place for me. So
It's just nice to see an Obsidian
Yeah,
title
but-
finally getting time for development, because they've been so fucked in terms of like having to rush their games. That's why Fallout New Vegas was so buggy. It happened with Knights of the Old Republic 2. They just haven't had a lot of luck with that, and it's mostly because of their problems with THQ and with Ubisoft, who's really weird in terms of like how they delay their games release. They seem to be going a bit of the Nintendo route with that. They will delay a game until it's really ready.
yeah, which is fine. Oh my god, that's right. Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Jesus, what's going on? What?
Oh,
what
the trademark
happened?
thing.
What's
That was a troll.
what's even happening anymore?
The
What?
Watchdog thing, the trademark.
Was that fake? Was it a hoax?
Well, the trademark thing was real. Like, that thing went away, but it was someone masquerading as Yves Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, and Ubisoft managed to fix it. So Watch Dogs is fine. However, there is something else about Watch Dogs. The game will be coming around June, apparently.
That's fine.
The Wii U
That's
version, however,
fine, I think.
not cancelled, but delayed.
We just need it out. We need to get it out there and just go. And seriously, that's just right now. That's all I care about. I want it to be out and in the open. I don't care if delay it that long. Just do not cancel it, because we don't need another freaking cancellation of a Wii U game. I'll just put it even farther.
In any case, I think that's it. I think I don't have anything more to say. Do you, guys?
Not really.
No, really.
Then, gentlemen, we have finished our first episode.
Fantastic.
Yay.
Wow, incredible. Nice job, guys.
So thank you guys all for listening. I hope that we have many adventures together, and hopefully you will continue to follow us. If you want to know more about what's going on at G1 Features, you can follow the Twitter account. It's at G1 Features, or you can follow me at Madhero15. How about you guys tell your Twitter accounts so that they may follow you?
So my Twitter account is BigJonathan91. You guys can follow me, and I should be back soon to writing on ScrewAttack. I actually have to edit the top 10 to...
My Twitter account is at FrankHaggar972 because it's an old... I made it when I actually had dumb numbers, but I can't change it now because I don't want to lose my followers and all that shit.
You can change your Twitter name.
Yeah, the name, but you can't change the
In
at
fact-
thing, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
No, you
Wait,
can't change it.
Yes, you
You
can.
can?
Yeah, you can.
How?
Yes, I did it recently. It used to be at SideSmash, but now it's at MR Max Mariner, or Mr. Max Mariner. You can find my Twitter handle on there, and you can all check out my stuff right on rulethirds.com, which will be launching on February.
You're plugging your
26th.
website on the G1 Features podcast. That's just rude.
I literally thought you were going to say at 34 or something.
But
No, that's too easy. It's too easy of a joke. You know, Larry, Sean, and I, we all agreed there are going to be some really easy jokes that people can make about the site's name. But we're okay with that because we don't care.
soon you'll
Ever.
have Rule
Because people
34
have to think of better
drawn
names
for
than
you.
that.
If the site ever becomes popular. So maybe that's the price you have to pay.
Yeah. Well, if we ever get popular, I mean, it's probably going to come up.
I can't wait.
Dart will have fun with us.
I
If we ever
can't
get
wait
popular.
for you and Sean's Yowie.
Shut up, God. Tom, shut up.
Well, okay.
Don't
Okay,
even.
wrapping
Okay,
this up,
that's
guys.
this has been the Non-Playable podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Mhm.
See you.
See you.